Hello everyone, my name is CHU CUIPING. Today I want to share a problem and its proposal innovation in middle school, which is three-view drawing questions, especially in mathematics. We can say in these two pictures that three-view drawing is about main view, left side view, and top view. Regarding this question, I've made a questionnaire. So let me show you what I've found and the background of this phenomenon. Today, though teachers have taught students many techniques about three-view drawing, there are still some students who cannot imagine the original object just depending on the given three-view. And based on my questionnaire, I found that many students today are still confused by three-view questions, and quite a lot of them lack the ability of imagination, which is very important for students today. At the same time, around 80% of them practice the ability of space imagination just by imagining. So, since they cannot imagine the original object just by themselves, it is necessary to present the object to them. Therefore, the 3D printing occurs to me. I think it can be taken into consideration in education in the future. Next, let me show you some questions I've selected from my questionnaire. First, do you have the problems with three-view when you were in middle school? We can see that around 47% people said that they sometimes had the problem, and around 20% of them said that they often had the problem. We can infer that quite a lot of people had the same problems of three-view drawing when they were in middle school. The next one, what's the problem with you? What's the problem with you when learning the knowledge of three-view? Over 50% of people said that they cannot imagine the original object just depending on the given three-view. So let's say the fourth question first, which is, in your opinion, what kinds of abilities are exempt by three-view questions? Over 90% of people said that it is about the ability of space imagination. So we can infer from the fourth question to the second question that because they lack the ability of space imagination, they cannot imagine the original object easily. That's the point we need to deal with. That's the question we need to solve. The last question is, based on your experience on study and work, do you think students are still confused by three-view today? Quite a lot of people, around 87% of people thought that students today still have the same problems with the three-view questions. So let me show you what are the existing solutions and what are their disadvantages and advantages. The first solution is teachers teaching. If we depend on teachers, it is not very good for students to improve their ability of space imagination, which is the disadvantage. But at the same time, if we depend on teachers teaching, we don't need any extra materials. It is very easy and very convenient for teachers and students. The second solution exists today is imagining just by students themselves. But just like we have said here, around 50% of people cannot imagine the original object. So that's the problem. They cannot imagine the original object just by themselves. But it has the advantage too. If students try to imagine the original object by themselves, it is very good for improving their thinking abilities. This is the summary, the diagram for these whole problems. for this whole problem, which is students in middle school are affected by three-view questions in mathematics because they lack the ability of space imagination. They cannot imagine the original object easily. So it is better to show them the original object. So I propose the idea of 3D printing. This is my proposed solution, 3D printer to print the original object and show students the object. They can rely on the original object to imagine the three-view. Therefore, they may draw the three-view drawing. 3D printer has some advantages as well. First, it can inspire the interest in study because we don't usually use a 3D printer, especially in middle school. Students may be curious about what is a 3D printer, how to use a 3D printer. So definitely it can inspire the interest of students. Secondly, it can improve learning skills. You say teachers need to teach students how to use the 3D printer. They tell the students some skills of this new technology. So at the same time, it can give access to knowledge previously unavailable to students. But at the same time, 3D printing has some constraints. The first one, price. Compared with a normal printer, 3D printer is more expensive. Secondly, it requires certain operating skills. If the teachers don't know how to operate the machine, if they don't know something about the 3D printer, they cannot teach the students. It can be a problem, right? Third, the limited materials. If we use a 3D printer in education, especially in middle school, we need specific materials to print 3D things compared with a normal printer, which just needs some papers to print. 3D printer needs specific materials, and that's the reason why we don't usually use a 3D printer in the future. But in my opinion, if we solve those problems of 3D printer, maybe it can be used in the future to contribute to the improvement of students' ability of space imagination. So that's all by my topic today. I have analyzed the background. I show you the questionnaire I've made. I analyzed the existing solutions and I propose my own solution. I also analyzed the advantage and disadvantage of my proposed solution. That's all. Thank you for listening.